Okay, last week, Leorin came back. We had a lot of discussions. It's a lot of talking. Several of us did various errands around town. Eventually, Permilia received a possible job offering to us, which rang familiar, so we kind of jumped on it. We accosted a warehouse in search of red nectar and were attacked by shadow creatures in the process. And we had just routed all threats.
Anyone have anything to add to that?
That sounds about right.
You have just routed all threats. There are several people dead or unconscious around you as the party has begun to nurse their wounds. Karuto and Celestra, to put this very succinctly, you feel like shit.
Makes sense.
We have just had vitality drained from us, so.
There is a door closed where there is clearly some sounds that Celestra investigated earlier. Several of the dark elves that you were fighting simply ran outside, clearly in a panic. What would the party like to do?
Um, does Solastra's, because I imagine Navali is still next to Solastra, does Solastra condition look at all familiar? Like, uh, uh, I'm trying to think back to when we fought that fish.
Roll medicine or religion.
Well, don't have medicine trained. So, let's see how it goes. Yep, that's about par for the course.
Celestra looks, in many ways, terrible. Her scales look rotted and as if many of them are about to fall off. Her body seems almost artificially aged by dozens of years. Even when you're listening to her breathing, it sounds more haggard and difficult. That being said, what exactly happened to her, you have no idea.
Solastra, I'm not sure of yet we're free from danger. Just stay close to me, but I want to make sure the people in here are safe.
Okay. I don't think I'll be moving far.
Okay. Um, Navali is going to walk up to the door and just give a very like sort of gentle knock. Uh, hello. Um, I I believe it's safe to come out now. The creatures have been dealt with.
Roll persuasion with disadvantage.
Right. Well,
Just get these dice out of the way.
yeah.
I don't know if like refresh your browser is dice jail, but
Well, you knock several times and you say some words. You definitely hear movement from within as someone tries to respond, and then a muffled voice as if their response is immediately their mouth is covered. They do not open the door.
Hmm. I understand that you're very scared right now. I promise you that I nor any of my companions are here to harm you.
Roll me insight.
All right? I'm just not rolling great that day. Anybody else want to take over?
The rest of you are hearing Navale do this, and the door does not open as she is staring at the door as if hoping to convince the people inside that it is okay. 6, Rev, you're still covered in gore. How do you feel?
I think Rev feels okay, but he is going to ask, is everyone all right?
Yeah. I'm mostly unharmed.
Go
I
ahead.
will probably need a minute.
Leo looks pensive, but I'm actually going to, out of an abundance of caution, I'm going to cast Locate Creature. Just trying to sense if any remaining shadow creatures or if any remaining shadow creatures are within 1,000 feet and might still be lingering.
Okay. That becomes complicated. Could you just roll me a D100 for me?
Okay. Nearest creature of a specific kind, which I'm just sort of targeting the creature type that we encountered.
Yeah. There is actually two of them, but they are very near the 1,000 feet. They're not inside the building. They're both to the northwest of you.
If the creature is moving, I know the direction of its movement. Does it appear to be moving?
No.
Leo, having cast this spell, I imagine that he sort of pulled out his glass writing wand and scribbled something in the air before his eyes glazed over, and he says, there may still be some nearby that way. And I point in whatever direction that I sense them. Not sure if that's the way we came or if that's a different direction entirely.
Something is wrong with Karito and Celastra. I'll guard them while you secure the area.
I will be fine, Six. I can still fight.
You probably can, but I don't think Celastra can. Help me stay on guard.
He nods and readies his bow, but you see him leaning against the wall surreptitiously.
Skern, I guess Sloster, did you mention who you saw in the building? I know you mentioned a child, but did you mention like anything specific?
I don't think I did when we were fighting, but if you asked, I would explain that it was a half-orc child.
Skern, does Navali at all recall a half-orc child at Mother Marigold's?
Roll my wisdom with advantage.
Okay. Wisdom.
Yes, his name was Oog.
Navali will knock again. Oog, do you remember me? It's Navali, or you might remember the giant bunny.
Roll perception. Yes, it's with your hearing, so you have
Yes.
advantage. It is muffled, and it doesn't take you too long to realize that someone is trying to respond to you, but currently has something blocking his mouth. Thus, you can't understand the words, but very least you know the child is probably trying to talk to you, and something's preventing him from doing so.
All right. Does it sound like? It doesn't sound like. I want to like see if it's like he's in danger kind of sound, or is it just like? Can I roll an insight on it?
With a 24, I will give you it doesn't sound like he's in immediate danger. It just sounds like something was put in front of his mouth and is trying to prevent him from communicating with you. It doesn't sound like he's being harmed in any way. It doesn't sound
Okay.
pained. It doesn't sound like he's being tortured.
Is anybody besides Solostra next to Navali?
I imagine I'm nearby.
It has been probably almost a solid minute, if not a few minutes. Like, the party can be wherever they would like to be at the moment.
I am going to signal to Leo that I'm gonna go in. And I'm going to also, if I haven't already, or if my spirit guardian hasn't already, gonna dismiss the spirit guardian.
I believe it only lasts a minute.
I thought it was 10 minutes.
If
but
it's
I could
10
be
minutes,
wrong.
then you do have to manually dismiss it.
Yes, she's going to manually dismiss it. Navali's gonna knock again. I was like, I'm going to come in the room. I understand that you're scared. I promise I will not hurt you. Navali is going to put her spear away. She's going to set her sword on the floor. Make a note to pick it back up again later, but she is going to walk in, or she's going to gently open the door.
Leo, as you make eye contact with him before you step in, just sort of indicates to his wand to remind you that the woman did have an arcane focus.
Yeah, Navali is going in with the very, like, sense of, like, I mean you no harm. She's going to, like, hold her hands up as she's, like, going in.
You attempt to gently open the door, and it jostles slightly as it apparently is barricaded.
Navali will make motion that, or say, looks like they might have barricaded it.
Leo will come up to the door and say, "It's not safe here. There's more creatures around. We can get past this door to bring you to safety." I would prefer to Leo actually, because I, as a player, don't know what to say. Leo just sort of trails off from there. He doesn't know how to resolve this.
Please roll my persuasion with disadvantage.
Oh boy. Could be worse.
Could be a lot worse. At the very least, I'm just going to take that 24 perception again for Navali and not make her roll every single time. You can definitely hear the movements don't continue, so they're not trying to prevent you from doing more things, but you also know they didn't remove the barricade. Exactly what this means, it's hard to tell. Minimum, they're not trying to blow the door open at you. That's probably something.
We know you're there. Could you tell us your name?
You don't get a response.
I do know at the very least the half-orc child is Oog.
Was the out of character? Was the adult a drow?
The adult that ran in that Slaughter saw was definitely a drow, yes.
That's the problem. We did just Leo points at the number of drow bodies, some which are on our hands, and indicates to Navali, like, we're not really trustworthy in this situation.
I understand that.
But I can open the door.
It's not safe for either of them to be here, but I understand that they're scared. I'm not sure. Yeah, I guess we don't want those creatures to come back. It's better if we get them out.
While you're discussing this, if I may ask, what is the rest of the party doing as they're doing that?
Karito is struggling not to vomit because I think he's still poisoned.
I'm going to go check how long that duration is, actually.
Yeah.
Yes, you are still poisoned.
Bix is checking the perimeter.
I'm going to stay with Solastra and Karito, sort of at maximum alert level, trying to guard Solastra from any other threats.
Can Navali see Karuto out of curiosity?
I am going to assume that Karito is not trying to hide from his own party.
No, he's just chilling out, like with his bow, keeping an eye out for things.
If Karuto makes a mention of him not feeling well, I can come give some lay on hands.
He does not.
Then never mind that.
So, Rev, you said you're taking a perimeter?
No, I was asking if 6 was.
Fair.
Rev, okay, it seems like everybody is relatively busy, so what Rev is going to say is we need to check for what we came for or anything incriminating and leave, I think.
One of those boxes is opened up and there's red shit inside of it. Is that it?
Would I know if that's it?
Rev, roll me history with advantage. Or possibly medicine with advantage, your choice.
Oh. Well,
I
I
don't
only had a
think that
plus 1 with
changes
medicine.
either.
Nope,
Yeah.
nope.
Okay. It is red shit. You don't know what it is.
I am uncertain.
You do know. If you wanted to find out, you could just try drinking it.
There was one. I don't want to call them a leader, but there was the guy with the more intense poison blade that um, might be worth seeing what they have, if they have documentation or something on them. I I suppose I can search that body.
Roll me investigation.
Oh boy.
Maybe I should just throw the combat at you now. The dice rolls are great for me. You pat him down. You do not find any pieces of paper on him. You do notice that the blade on him seems very interesting in a lot of ways, though you're not sure if it's magical or not, or if it has just a way to get venom into the edges almost immediately. And you find several vials of what appears to be some kind of clear liquid. By several, I mean 3.
Clear colored or just
Clear, like
translucent?
almost,
Okay.
yeah, translucent.
I'll take them, not with the intent to keep them, but just they don't seem like friendly things to keep around.
Also, with a 10, you know this man is very dead.
And I still haven't spotted any movement from my creature, locate creature.
Hasn't moved, nope.
Should we stay?
No, we need to try to find what we came for and we need to leave.
I don't want to leave as long as there's these people in here. We need to get them out.
I understand one way or another, we're not leaving without them, but we need to do this and we need to do this soon. One of the shadows spoke to me. Or one of the, it was one of the puppeted creatures, correct? One of the puppeted guys?
If that's what you want to call them.
One of the people that read Rose, I don't know what you'd call them. Zombies?
You may have whatever term you'd like for them.
Spoke to you?
Yes. It called me by my last name and it referred to this as a warning. I wonder about the legitimacy of our missive, so I would like to find something and leave as soon as possible.
Celastra, are you good enough to walk?
Am I?
You can move.
Okay.
I mean, it hurts, but you can certainly slither. I'm not sure if being asked to walk is racist in some way or form, but you're capable of
Oh my
movement.
god.
Yes, I'll be able to leave. I may need some help, though.
What's the attitude of the other party members as Rev says we need to find what we need and leave?
Naruto is trying his best not to look like, yes, please God, yes, but no.
Can I request an insight check for Leo?
Sure.
He's looking at some of the bodies like this isn't the first time we've killed people and that he's upset by it, including one of them who he did not kill. Probably the one unconscious person in here.
Since it seems that a couple people are musing over other things, Six raises her voice. Hey! You heard him. Let's find what we need and get out of here before those things come back. Got it?
The woman inside might have it. I can kick open the door.
I look at Rev, sort of requesting permission.
We will deal with them last. Check everyone else first.
Roll again. Nope. Don't worry, it's my personal rolls.
I'm just going to drop a locate object for red nectar just to confirm that these are drugs.
Just for my own curiosity, does that overwrite locate creature?
It does drop concentration, yeah.
Okay. In that case, as you drop concentration from one, you concentrate on another. There is several crates in here. You know what? I shouldn't say several. It's one object. There is a crate almost straight to the north that you can immediately sense this thing that you tried to locate.
Is
Inside
it?
of it.
And out of curiosity, the one crate that I destroyed, is the ground glowing with that as well?
It
Or
is not
that-
actually.
Okay. I'll point specifically to the crate and say that one. That has the drugs at least.
Okay.
I'll head over to that crate. I don't know if like Dulveron shipping policies have like numbers on crates and stuff.
They do not.
Okay. Can I? Is it easy to open, or is it sort of really stuck?
It seems as if it is designed that you would need tools to open, but you're also have a lot of tools in your own way.
I don't know if we, it's too big to take with us. I imagine.
It's fairly big, but you also have Navali.
I indicate that as an option.
Rev kind of stares at the crate for a minute. Perhaps we should contact the guard then, yes? The crate is here, these two are here, and he'll point at the door. This is what we would typically do. Yes? That's what we did with Sperenzo, right? We called the guard.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want me to
Oh.
go get the guards with the missive?
Yes, please.
Okay.
At least in the case of Speranzo, personally, I would have said that's because they're a noble, and therefore harming them would have gone down very badly. That's OSC, though.
I would also bring the note that we received that we were allowed to come and investigate, so they don't,
Yeah, that's what I want. So this is what I'm thinking. I find a guard, tell him that we're on official guild business. There was a fight. There are several casualties. Do I mention the monsters?
Leo throws up detect locate creature again just in case.
Are you asking out of character?
Haven't moved.
Asking Rev in character. Do I mention the monsters?
I would.
Okay, I will. Six tries to take the job letter.
If Rev has it, he'll give it to her.
Navali has it, but Navali, do you
Let's
give
go
it to her?
Yeah, Navali will hand it over.
Okay. I'll be back.
Is there anything you do while waiting for Six to do this?
Rev will help keep a perimeter in her absence.
Just out of curiosity, is Six heading in the same direction as these creatures? Just if I follow her
No.
path out the door? Okay.
Six.
Hello.
I'm not going to have you roll anything. Since you are literally just looking for armed guards, I'm just going to ask you to roll a D100, and that's going to define how long this took.
There we go. And for the record, she's telling honestly what happened. Not trying to spin it.
Okay. Six, it actually doesn't take you too long. It only takes you about 10 minutes getting away from the warehouses to find some armed people that looked like guards. You've seen plenty of them. You explain what happened. They look at the note. They look untrustworthy of you, probably because of your race. You're used to this at this point. But with the note and guild badge, they definitely seem, at the very least, willing to investigate. They ask to be given enough time to get enough backup just in case if there's any additional problems.
Six thinks that's a good idea as she heard that there were additional creatures in the area.
Are you going to wait for them to actually get the backup, or do you head back?
I ask them what's best for them. Oh, I know what's happening. I say I'll come with them.
Roll persuasion. So this takes an additional 5 to 10 minutes of very clearly going, no, you don't have to, and you insisting until eventually they realize they can't get out of this and actually go get the backup.
Hell yeah.
That being said, it takes almost a full hour for Six to get back. Does the party do anything while waiting for that hour? And no, you were not attacked during that hour.
I think Rev would go over to Salastra.
By the way, Karuto, the poison wore off.
Naruto looks a little bit better. He's no longer struggling to keep his food down.
I guess I would think that Navali would be continually listening in just to see if she hears more movement or hears anything with the two inside.
I will ask for an additional perception.
If it's
Yes, with
hearing-
advantage.
Yay! Okay. Perception.
You can hear a kind of a nervous energy over the next hour, movement, very low whispers. That being said, it doesn't take you too long to realize you're not whispering to each other. This sounds more like a prayer to you, though in a language you don't understand. You don't hear any kind of magical effect, and you definitely know they're both still in there. It seems very much in the sense of they don't trust you to leave, and they know you're right outside, so they're not moving either.
Does the prayer sound at all familiar to me?
Pro religion!
Yay! We'll see how this goes. Okay, that's actually been better.
You do not recognize the exact prayer, but you certainly understand it as the kind of prayer you say to yourself as a I hope things work out.
Gotcha.
That being said, you have no idea what God they're
Mhm.
praying to. Anything else people are doing while waiting?
Rev would go check on Celastra.
Foster, you were never poisoned, but you still feel horrible.
I still feel horrible.
I am sorry to hear that. And I am going to apologize again because I might have to ask something more of you, unfortunately.
What is it?
I have some doubts about our missive since that undead person spoke with me. I could be wrong, and perhaps it is entirely legitimate and we are fine. If something happens, not here, but someplace safe as soon as you are able, if you wouldn't mind sending a message to our employer's secretary? Could you do that for me?
Yes, I could do it now. It will only take a moment.
Not here. Not here. Please wait until we're where we usually go, if you don't mind.
Sure.
Rebel nod.
Would this hour of waiting count as a short rest at all?
I will say that if you're not doing anything strenuous, yes. I would not allow Navale to do so because she is paying too much attention to the people in there. Sure.
That's fair.
Okay, I'm just gonna take some hit dice and use Arcane Recovery then.
That being said, terrible news for the two Idola users here. Your weapons do dissipate.
That's okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm loving these dice rolls.
And in that hour, my locate creature would fade again. I'm assuming like zero movement at all. They're just kind of, as best as I can tell, standing still.
I'm going to ask you to roll either perception or insight because, as best you can tell, standing still is correct, but I might be able to give you something else. It feels, with the way that it is and the distance, it's as if they're waiting.
Hmm. I don't know if this would add to my strenuousness after that, but I would like to, like, the ones that we destroyed, the one that was like in the crate that hadn't, yeah, just the ones that we killed. Did they leave anything behind?
You kind of look over it. There is little bits of cloth and dust.
Hmm. I'm gonna kick around the dust just in case there's something in it.
Nope.
That's all I got.
Anything else before 6 arrives? Cool. 6. You arrive. They did get back up. Almost 6 guards come with you as you enter the warehouse. Immediately upon entering, the smell of death is pretty immediate to you. The rest of you have become acclimated to it after being in here for an hour. But several people had very gruesome deaths here, and blood and guts kind of got spilt everywhere. You have been just hanging in a place that smells of death. The guards themselves do not look particularly well when they look at the blood splatters, especially with the ones that exploded by the entrance.
We were able to secure and get several of the people out when the monsters came. It did something to them. It reached inside of them and took control of them. When they died, they exploded, like you can see now. There were 2, but we're magically aware that there are others in the area. We were looking for evidence of red nectar and found some in this crate.
Leonards.
All right. Okay. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna secure the area. Oh, is that bone? Oh. Okay, we're gonna secure the area. Do you believe that you've dealt with any major threats?
There are 2 other individuals here behind this door. A woman and a child, Navali, Solastra?
That's right. I believe they've barricaded the door.
Rev, while I was out, did you notice any other threats? Do you think that the perimeter is secure for now?
I assume I didn't notice anything else.
Correct.
Rev will nod.
Yeah, it's secured for now. It's not safe, I don't think, for the 2 that are barricaded in the room. We'd like to get them somewhere safe if possible.
Right. Well, at the very least, uh, one of the ones who looks considerably better about all the violence, probably a hardened person who has seen death before, starts investigating some of the bodies, both the unconscious ones and the definitely dead ones, as if looking for certain things on their body. I can tell you they're not civilians, so you have done nothing illegal. If you believe this area is secured already, except for a woman and a child, we can get them out of here. Likely bring them to the guardhouse. This crate. Okay, nope. It's heavy, but we got this. You can report this as complete.
She nods. For the matter of the woman and child, she leaves that to Navali to lead.
If it's all right, I know I've seen this child before. They were at Mother Marigold's, and I would like to take them back there.
Roll persuasion. Okay, I guess we have a bleeding heart. Okay, fine.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Do you think the person with the child is also from there, or
I don't believe so. I'm not actually certain.
great? Well, the rest of you are free to go. We'll secure the child.
Navali's going to give the indication that she's going to stay with the guard, so that she can take the child home.
Does anyone want to stay with Navali or split up? Please split the party.
Leo's nearby because he doesn't know if his services will be needed to open the door. He'll also indicate to the one unconscious person on the ground, just like he's still alive, in case they want to interrogate them.
I believe 6 also knocked out several people.
I thought they all died.
No, everyone that 6 had encountered either got transformed or ran away.
Ah, you're correct.
If I recall, wasn't there only one person that we killed?
Karuto killed one, Slosher killed one.
Okay.
So, for my own clarity, does the party essentially say, you're free to go, and then not leave?
Yeah, we'll go with Navali.
Should I get Celastra out of here?
Yes.
I will escort
Please.
Okay. Celastra and Karuto with me. Rev, Leorin, and Navali are staying behind.
Not far behind you, I imagine.
Okay. Where did you say those creatures were? I want to avoid going that way. I'm still a little tapped, and these two are injured.
I'll point in a direction and say, I'll point in the direction that I saw them and say we should take the path that way, kind of indicating a side route.
Sure. She nods in understanding. All right.
Do you all need me to open this door?
No, we got this. By got this, they start shoulder checking the door. Do you just step back and let them handle that, or do you say you have a better solution?
There's a degree of just concern over, like, what if this drow does some magic shit right as the door opens and fireballs us. So Leo's sticking around until it's resolved.
Sorry, quick side note. I also imagine Navali picked up her sword, like, probably during that short rest.
Sure, I have no objections of just saying you get your equipment back.
Mhm.
I'm not going to be that mean of saying, no, you said you dropped your sword, it's gone forever.
It's gone forever, you can't find it.
It's just a basic longsword, it's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Just to make sure, Karuto, 6, and Celestra left, correct?
Yes.
I think so.
Cool. You successfully leave. A few minutes go by of them trying to break this door down. They eventually succeed. Leo, you do see an immediate attempt to about to cast a spell. Notice how terribly outnumbered that this woman is, and she just puts her hand down, drops her focus, and clearly surrenders. For the sake of some brevity, I'm going to not do a full roleplay scene on interrogation because that's not the point of this. You just wanted to get the boy out of there. They are willing to take her away. You quickly find out that she doesn't seem to understand Common too well. Seems to be speaking in a different language. Rev, you're still here, right?
Yeah, I think I was hanging out.
It's under Common.
Gotcha.
Very clearly, the guards have no idea what she's saying, but she seems very disturbed and talking about how they came and killed everybody. You're probably glad that there's not going to be it's her word versus yours because the guards are ignoring her too.
Rev hears this and his ears are folded. He looks like he lost anyway, kind of, in a way.
The orc child Oog looks at Navali and looks kind of worried in a lot of ways, but seems completely unharmed.
She will sort of like get down on like her get down on one knee, just like offer her hand. I can take you back to Mother Marigold's.
He doesn't seem unwilling to grab your hand, but please roll me insight.
All right.
There is definitely a fear in his eyes of not really understanding what's going on, and willing to just kind of go along, understanding that he is essentially not ready for anything that happened. And even as he exits the room and sees blood and corpses about, definitely notice some of the green become more of a light teal. And there's just something when you say you'll bring him back to Mother Marigold's that you can tell he doesn't really want to take your hand when you say that, but knows he doesn't have a lot of choices.
Given what Navali knows about Mother Marigold, she understands, but also knows that she can't really take him anywhere else. Is he walking alongside her?
Yeah, he's
Okay.
certainly going to do that, especially he does remember you and trust you not to hurt him.
Mm-hmm.
You're that big bunny lady who talked about murdering a snake with her thighs.
It's true. Navali then will take him back if anybody wants to join him.
We'll go with.
Leo will come with. He'll also drop a prestidigitation to. I don't know if you are covered in gore or anything, but just to.
I think she might be covered in her own blood, personally.
Yeah,
I was about to say, Navali was not covered in gore. No one exploded around her. Rev was covered in gore.
Yeah. Leo will offer a cleaning service to anybody who is about to be around this child.
Rev will take care of it himself. He knows prestidigitation.
Okay.
At an hour, I'm going to say you successfully did this before anything else happened.
Thanks.
Is anybody going to come with Navali?
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
I am dropping another locate creature. This is just knowing that they're there, trying to get a sense of if they're following or if they're potentially returning to the crime scene, like as we leave. Just trying to get a gauge over what these two things are doing.
As you drop your new locate creature and begin walking towards the orphanage, you don't even have to roll anything to understand that they are in fact following you.
The guard?
No, the
No.
shadows.
Oh.
Reverence. You said they called your name.
One of the creatures they controlled or detonated did, yes.
They're coming our way.
Have looks alarmed. How close are we to Mother Marigolds when he says that?
It's like an hour's walk.
Yeah, I feel like we shouldn't go there. Out of character. That is like bringing a nuke into an orphanage. I'm are they still advancing on us, or are they keeping a distance?
They're keeping around that 1,000-foot distance.
Okay. I can call the others, although my spell capabilities are rapidly shrinking.
Rebel looked to Navali.
Navali kind of glances down with the idea she doesn't really want to say anything because Oog is already spooked.
At the very least, you can tell he doesn't quite understand the concepts of your conversation right now. As far as he's concerned, you're talking about guards and things that he's not aware of.
Do you know the way back to Mother Marigold's? I say to the kid.
Yeah.
When's the last time you were there?
I was taken out a month ago.
Oh. I'm trying to remember out of character the deal we made, like that they get the occasional sweets, and Leo's like, I think they're bringing cookies today. Would you be able to go back on your own?
No, we're not doing that.
No, I do not want this.
Navali,
Yes,
I hate to ask, but do you think Perm would be able to escort him if we asked from here?
I think she could.
Why don't we send to her? We will remain here, keeping an eye on where they are. If they advance, we start moving away from the orphanage. If they stay where they are, we have Permilia take Oog back to the orphanage, and then we all reconvene and go home. How does that sound?
Sounds good.
My ability to track them only lasts a short time. I don't know how quick Permilia can get here. If they're following you, Reverence, I could stay with you. Navali could go ahead of us, and then I can fly us out of here if they come closer.
I just don't know for sure that they are just following me anymore. And I didn't want to risk it.
Feel like I also should mention you know your spell. It doesn't lock onto every creature. It locks onto the closest creature. So if there's more than one, it is totally possible that you're missing them.
Fair, but it would be the nearest one.
Correct. It is the nearest one. I just feel like that you should know your own spell limitations just
That's
in
true.
case.
I don't actually know that there's two of them, to be clear. I can call Permilia then.
Tell her to bring Vidi and Sand or whoever's around.
Were you gonna say something?
No,
Navali?
that's all good.
Okay. All right. Dropping another spell. Good thing I used Arcane Recovery because I'm pretty tapped. Oh wait, I did not prepare that spell today. Because we were going to combat. Sorry. I
How
thought I could.
how far away is where Perm and Navali stay?
Oh, funny enough, an hour in a different direction.
Oof.
We could just bring our new friend with us and rendezvous with the rest. Or just go to Marigold's.
If we go to Marigold's, then I'm going to stay the night there. I wouldn't feel right about potentially leading something dangerous there if we did go. We'll stay and watch the place if that's. But do we know where Celestra and the others went?
I pointed them down that direction. I don't know what we can assume their destination would be. Back at the Imperium, perhaps.
How late in the day is it, Cern?
Oh, it's like noon.
How about I'm sure Oog is hungry. I can go, we can get some food, we can stay for a little while. So one of you go and grab Perm, or see if Celestra can send a message to Perm, and I will stay and we'll just get food. Navali giving the indication that, maybe being around people might prevent the creature from doing something.
Rev nods. That is a fine idea. He'll give you 5 gold. I will be back very shortly.
Be safe.
Should your friends turn towards you, Rev, I might advise we change plans, but I'll find you if so.
Rev nods. And then he's gonna take off. Hey, we're we're in panic mode a little bit, all right?
Yeah.
I only have $100 bills.
Well, Six and the rest of you. What did you do when you left?
So here's my plan. Tell me what you think. Take a bunch of unnecessary side streets in case we're being followed, weave around, go back to the place that Permilia and Navali have been staying, and not the Tandem Imperium.
Sounds good.
Mhm.
Character will volunteer to lag behind and be stealthy, though, so he can make sure no one's following them.
That's a good
Not
plan.
too far behind, but you know.
Okay. You know what? I'm going to say, because of the whole constantly taking side streets, to actually give me a stealth roll. That being said, it can be helmed by any of the three of you, and one of you is a fucking rogue.
Gosh, I wonder who.
What's
I got it.
yourself?
I'll do it.
Hell yeah.
All right, with a 29, 6, you're not even sure you could follow where you went. So you head to the inn, which poor inn. You are being followed. They're going to be in terrible trouble in the future.
That's future us's problem.
So, is there anything in particular you're going to look for in that inn, or is it just Permelia, or are you planning to wait for the party or send anyone?
My plan is 6 is take a short rest to get my shit back, and ask Celastra if she can send to Rev to ask what to do, and tell him where we're at. I don't know what your spell resources are like, Celastra, but I don't have any way to get in contact with the rest.
I can do that easily. Don't worry. She will send that message to Rev.
Rev, as you have ditched Navale, you get that message in your head. Leo, I assume you went with Rev. That's what it sounded like.
No, actually, I stuck with Navali, but I said that if I noticed that Rev's departure would change the trajectory of his followers, that I would come get him.
When Rev left, almost immediately you felt as if they were following Rev, and then they left the range of your located creature.
Okay. Well, I don't know what order you want to do all this in then, but I would say, I would tell Navali, I think the coast is clear. I need to catch up with Rev. He might be getting company soon.
Navali will nod and just basically like, please be safe.
And I will, I assume, I'm hoping at this point the Rev's only like 5 minutes in front of me, but nonetheless, I'm going to cast Fly and try to catch up to him.
Yeah, unless Rev, you're constantly to backdashing and using resources, Leo can catch up to you.
Yep.
But I don't know when you're getting the message in relation to all this. So
Later, like they took him an hour to get to that inn. So essentially, Leo, you're with Rev when he gets that message.
okay, I make myself known and I just land and say, I'm not concentrating on the spell anymore, but they are coming towards you. And I offer my hand as if sort of like I can fly us away.
Uh, Rev will take it, I guess.
Okay. It only lasts like 10 minutes. So I'm only trying to get a little bit of distance, but Leo will try to grab onto Rev and make towards the direction opposite of sort of Mother Marigold's until we hear otherwise.
Sure. It's after you're already walking again and you've gone a bit of distance when you get Slostra's message of where they are. I assume that you attempt to regroup.
Yes.
Cool. For the sake of some brevity, 6 is congratulations, you short rest. And everyone except Navala, you successfully regroup.
While we're short resting, I would like to give an inspiring speech.
As you order food at the inn and you begin to take your long breaths and trying to figure out what to do, what do you say?
I say, it got scary back there, but we made it out. And if those things come back, we're just going to kick the shit out of them again, okay?
Karuto and Celestia, you can decide whether this is inspiring enough to get 10 temporary hit points.
It's 11 now.
11 temporary hit points.
Wow.
Celestra seems doubtful, but for whatever reason, she feels better.
Actor remains quiet, but gives a firm nod after a moment. This is gonna use some hit die. Nice.
Yes, you regroup at the inn that you slept in a few days ago, and Vermilia is still sleeping here. That being said, Vermilia is not in the inn at the moment, but you regroup here without any issues. You definitely get a lot of weird looks, though. Most of you are cleaned up fairly okay. It's the, oh, they're back looks.
We got Celestra and Caristo some food. Nothing bothered us here. I prepared in case we have to have another fight.
Well, as best as I can tell, Rev is what is being tracked at the moment. So Navali went forward to Mother Marigold's. I cannot recall her. I'm not able to communicate with her at the moment. Should we want to bring her back?
What should we do?
I have a weird question out of character. By this point, can I tell if if Navali is on her way back?
Hey, Navali,
Yeah.
what exactly did you do after they left you?
Given that Leo gave the indication that it seemed like the creature was following Rev, Navali would keep with the idea that she and Ugar, she's gonna help, give food because he's probably hungry. They probably, get some food and then she'll take him to Mother Marigold's.
And do you head back? Where do you go after you do that? Because you have no issues in doing that.
They didn't mention. Well, I guess they originally talked with the idea of like getting Permilia, so I guess she would consider like probably go back to the place that she and Perm are staying at.
Rev, she's on her way.
He is on her way.
If you're being followed, Rev, I don't want those creatures to attack this inn.
I don't either. What? Where would you recommend? Where should we go?
We leave.
Rather, what? Ah,
We go outside of Dolvaran. They move in to strike. We dispatch them. They aren't aware that, or we don't have a way of knowing if they're aware that we know that they're following us. If we take them somewhere where they feel comfortable striking and then spring a trap, we can gain the advantage. But I'm worried about Celestra having to fight in her current condition.
indeed. Revel kind of look to everyone and kind of gauge how where everyone's headspace is at.
It is his best plan we have. At least this way they will not have the advantage of surprise.
You said something that does give me relief, though. When those creatures appeared, I was worried that they would go after Navali and the kid, but it seems that that's not what they're after.
So it would seem. With that in mind, if they're on their way, I should probably start moving. Where would you recommend I go?
I don't know that if they are on their way per se. They did seem to be maintaining a steady distance from you, but simply tracking. It would be cramped, but I do have my dome. Should we all wish to rest and allow Zlostra and Karto, hopefully a night's rest will help them recover more soundly. And we could just do that outside of the gates, I suppose.
What part of town are we in right now?
Residential.
We go to the south gate. We set up camp, we get Solastra inside Leo's bubble. This will give her a chance to rest and get her strength back. Karito as well. If they attack us, we're ready for them. If they don't, that's weird.
Alright. Is everyone in favor of this plan?
Character nods.
I think it sounds like a good plan. I just hope I can recover quickly.
That should be your top priority, Solastra. I'll guard you.
Thank you.
Alright, let's move.
Out of character once Navali gets here, I imagine.
Oh, well, yes.
Wasn't Nivali staying the night at the orphanage?
No, she diverted back here. I thought.
I mean, out of character, that's true, but Karito doesn't quite know that. Either way, 30 minutes pass. Navali, you arrive back at the inn and see your entire group just at a table at the moment, discussing plans. Honestly, doesn't seem like where they were supposed to be, but it's where they are.
Sorry I am late. I was able to bring Oog back to the orphanage.
Good. We're unsure if I'm still being followed. We are planning to leave the city and sort of set up a trap and give Salastra a chance to rest in Leo's dome.
All right. That sounds like a good idea. Did we at all potentially think about, speaking with Rosalind about this?
Soon. Very soon, but not now.
Will Herm be joining us?
I don't know. I was going to ask you about this because I am of a mind that I don't know if they're coming right now, but I feel like we should move as soon as possible so that, and if for no other reason, to get things set up for Salastra. If you wanted to stay behind, I would understand, or if you wanted to leave her a note of some kind.
I can leave her a note. I would much rather make sure that all of you are safe.
Thank you.
Navali will leave a note, because I imagine they clued her in on the plan. So she will tell Perm where they're going to be and a little bit of what happened. Um, if by the time Perm sees it, she'll maybe make a mention. Like, I don't know if the group would want Navali to basically write it like, "Hey, we could use some help," but
To the group.
Up to you.
I mean, no objection to having Familia as backup, considering she is just basically a superhero.
mhm.
I'd actually prefer she stay in town.
You prefer she stay in town.
She's very strong, but that will leave Vidi and Sand alone.
Mm, I guess that's fair. Then I guess Navali will just write that they're going to be there so that she knows.
No, I'm trying to figure out if that's better or worse of getting a letter from a loved one saying, "Hey, here's where I am, don't follow." Either way, plan is go through Southgate, essentially camp out. Is that correct?
I believe so.
Yeah.
You head through the South Gate as a group after Navali writes her letter. You don't have any issues in leaving. None of the guards try and stop you. You've been through this gate many times. It's technically on the way to your winery. Is there any particular place you intend to actually camp out? Do you intend to like head halfway to your winery? Do you intend to head a little bit towards the woodsy areas to the southwest?
I have opinions on this.
By all
What are
means,
your
add them.
We should camp in a flat, open area. These creatures benefited from the element of surprise. If we stay in the woods, what's to say they won't go through the trees?
Sounds good to me.
Makes sense.
Well, when we pick a spot, Leo will bring up the dome, or his cottage-shaped dome. I imagine that we're probably like not quite ready for a long rest at that point, so I'm just saying for the record that I will re-up it right before going to bed.
Sure. It's like 3 p.m. as you put up the first dome.
Yeah.
Could I roll medicine on myself to like kind of get a gauge for how confident I am about recovering?
Sure. I will also allow religion if you'd prefer that.
I would not.
Medicine it is. It feels as if you don't have enough blood in your body at the moment. In theory, if that gets fixed, you'd be fine. In theory.
Hmm. Um, hey, Rev. Uh, this might be a strange question, but do you know any way to get me more blood?
Um, I don't believe that I do.
Hmm. I just know that's sort of your thing, so I thought I'd ask.
Ah, right. Sorry. No, I don't think I do.
It's okay. Celestra will just start munching on some rations.
Reverence, I would like to cast a spell on you. If you recall, I sometimes am able to find spell effects that are on people. See if anything's affecting you that might draw them towards you.
I see. Go ahead.
Give me 10 minutes. And after people play a round of cards or whatever they do, Leo will cast Identify on Rev to see if there are any spell effects that are untoward.
And there is no scrying effects or any kind of spells that would immediately cause him to be marked. That being said, Rev is also interesting because when you cast Identify on him, you sense as if like you identified something incredibly powerful that is essentially an item that lets you go to a different dimension that is also Rev himself and not an item. So it's really weird.
I imagine I can put two and two together because that's not new information for me.
No, it's not new information.
Seems clear.
Rev nods.
Nonetheless, I'm going to spend 10 more minutes doing detect magic just to find anything that is weird about the area and things that might be on our persons that I don't know about.
Is there any new magical items that happened while Leo was gone? I don't remember.
Six's claws changed.
Yeah, but that doesn't
Celestia's
change their
hammer.
aura. The
Yeah.
hammer is new, yes.
Oh, yeah.
The hammer, also, I've never known that Karto had an Eidolon.
I was about to mention that, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know that I know what it is, but I'm like, oh, there's like, because it's a necklace, right? I just sort of clock that you have a necklace on, but I don't ask you about it. But nothing on Rev is sort of where my focus is.
Correct.
What about the poison sword that I happened to pick up, and or the vials?
Neither are magical.
Okay.
Well, as Leo does a runs over with multiple ritual spells, do people intend to just kind of wait for dark and take a long rest?
I would like to take a short rest during this.
I'll allow
That's
it.
all right.
Navali will too.
I will allow both of this. I especially find it very funny of the warlock asking me for a short rest. I can't imagine why.
While this is happening, I want to stand guard for Celastra and Karato, even if they're in the dome.
We're only perception. That's a really good perception.
I am alert. My friends are in danger.
Six, as Leo sets up the dome and then sets up casting many of these spells in Rev to figure out if any kind of tracking is going on. You look around. You found a fairly nice clearing and a little bit of plains that you can essentially just go, we can see anything that's coming at us. There are several small animal holes around these plains, places where bunny burrows are, places where very clearly bugs and other smaller creatures are just designed to be around and still be able to hunt in these areas. You manage to stay away from most trees and rocks and other things in that regards, but you still notice very commonly there is an unnatural amount of rats that every now and then just kind of go about and then veer off to the side. It's as if the rats are actively checking on you, then leaving when they notice that you notice them.
Excellent. As I see that this happens, I want to try to keep these rats in my periphery, but pretend as if I'm ignoring them, to see if anything happens.
Roll deception or stealth, your choice.
I'll do stealth.
Okay, stop that.
My friends are threatened, and I'm taking this situation very seriously, Skern.
Okay. As you essentially pretend to ignore them, you do notice that some of them become braver, and many of them just get a little bit closer, as if they're trying to scout. Like you've definitely seen similar things from less, let's say, animalistic creatures where they're chucking their prey. But these are rats. They're supposed to be scavengers.
But they aren't behaving like normal rats.
No, they're not behaving like normal rats.
Is one close enough to attack?
With the tabaxi dash, yes.
Okay, I'm going to wait. I'm going to sit. I'm going to spring. Six's thighs get tense. I'm going to hunt the nearest rat.
Just give me an attack roll.
As this is happening, I say, "Don't fuck with me!"
As you say, don't fuck with me, and pounce directly on top of one of the rats, it splatters in, well, no damage. Oh yeah, it splatters into viscera in split seconds, as you are a much larger creature hitting a much smaller creature. You were probably expecting it to be like a familiar which just disappears, but blood is on your hands, and you notice some of the other rats around scatter away from you.
I see you. Don't come back.
Roll intimidation. It's hard to tell if rats can understand you.
I immediately, wiping my hands off on the grass, go back and report all of this to Rev, who has undoubtedly heard me shouting.
And Rev will make sure that everyone is aware to watch for the wildlife whenever we take watch.
Out of character, I'm trying to remember when the bodies exploded. They exploded into rats, did they not?
Spectral rats, yeah.
Hopefully I sent a message. I see them. But we're still being watched. Be alert.
Indeed. Thank you, Six.
She nods.
That being said, Rev, Navali, I noticed Navali was already rolling her dice. Yes, you successfully short rested. No worries.
Nice.
Anything else you intended to do as you prep for a long rest?
So, is it with the idea that we're all taking a long rest?
To you.
Okay.
I mean, we all need it, so I'm probably just taking
Yeah.
watches. Well, I will refresh the dome.
As I believe the dome lasts 8
8
hours?
hours.
Yeah, 8
Yep.
hours. And you will have no issues in essentially saying, we take shelter here from 4 to 10, and I refresh it so we can sleep.
Yep. I don't really recall if we can all fit in it or if people would even want to squeeze in that close, but Leo has to stay inside and imagine that Celestra and Karuto are as well.
The party is all capable of fitting in it as long as you don't, for example, decide to invite Mira, who you didn't pick up anyway. Poor Mira. Never allowed outside.
She's hanging out with Staluna. Although
Yes,
Staluna's probably
clearly.
asleep
I was about to say, during the day, definitely.
during the day.
You have successfully decided to take a day off camping. You prep for the night, and as night comes along and you prepare for a long rest, please tell me who's taking watches and when.
Rev is definitely taking a watch.
So will Navali.
I mean, I'm assuming you're taking a full 3 watches. I just need to know who's taking it when.
I think
Yeah.
Celestra would want last watch.
Same with Cardo.
I don't know if anybody wants to talk to Leo, but he sort of like is not going to request a watch with any particular person.
Hold on. Did I just hear that Karuto and Celestra would like third watch together to people who have less matched HP?
Yeah, together we make one functioning person.
I approve of this completely. Continue.
Rev will take the second watch.
Can we roll for like what watches we take?
Yeah, I don't care. Roll 1d3.
Wouldn't it be 1d2 because last watch?
Sure, that makes sense. If you want to just allow Karuto and Celestra to watch together and don't worry about the consequences of that.
Okay, fine, I'll roll 1d3.
I don't even know who's on what watch anymore. I feel like I
Navali
lost
and
track.
Rever watch 2, Karuto and Celestra watch 3. Therefore, if 6 and Leah would like watch 1.
Oh yeah, great idea.
I couldn't keep a straight face on that last one.
I like to think that it happens accidentally, and Leo just sort of cringes inward a little bit, but nods. If that's okay with you.
6, even the rolls say this is what should happen.
Oh, yeah, she's going for it. No, she's fine. Celestra and Karuto are injured. They need time to rest. I'm taking this seriously. I'm fit to fight. I'm taking first watch.
I suppose I'm with you then.
She nods.
Well, one of you roll me perception with advantage, or both roll them individually, and then you may discuss whatever you'd like to discuss. A reminder, Leo cannot leave the bubble, which can make arguments become very funny.
What is your bonus to perception?
+0.
May I roll with advantage? Mine is +5.
I'm only saying no because I don't know if we are at that level of cooperation.
Sure.
I think I would want to accept.
Is there any conversations you'd like to have?
6 does not pay a lick of attention to Liarin if he does not try to get her attention.
Leo. Yeah, you wouldn't necessarily clock this if you're not paying attention to Leo, but for the benefit of the camera, he has a look on his face like he is thinking of what to say. And perhaps that's perhaps that there is nothing to say at the moment.
I'll leave it up to Skern with my perception roll if I notice Leo's facial expression or not.
I have a question that it might answer that.
Sure.
Do you wait in the dome while you're taking watch, or do you actually leave the dome to take watch?
That's a good question. The dome is transparent from the inside, but opaque from the outside. I will stay inside the dome for the sake of protection.
In which case, you would definitely be able to tell Leo's facial expressions because he's right next to you.
Okay. Then, quietly, so as not to wake the others, out with it.
There's nothing to put out. I was thinking of what to say. And I came up empty.
She doesn't press.
Yeah, Leo will be sort of in his books. He sort of, just a book of some kind. He opens it and he opens it and then he thinks better of it, and it's sort of like, I should try to keep watch at least, but he fails at that. So he sort of pulls out the book as if he was going to read it or something, and ends up just sort of staring out into the distance, lost in thought. And nothing on my part.
Six, I'll say this out loud. It's not unusual. It feels weird, mostly because there's not a lot around here. So
Gotcha.
an actual pack nearby is kind of strange, but not like it's not so, oh, these are magically summoned, that has to be the only answer. It's one of those, it's just a little odd.
Okay. She doesn't mention it just because she doesn't want to, present a threat to Leo. She'll pay attention to this as watch goes on, but if nothing comes from it, then there's no reason to be alarmed.
At the very least, you know you're completely secure in the dome. I can't make the joke about killing Mira because she's not here.
And it's not dinner time yet. Anyway.
But yes, your watches go by without anyone being harmed, possibly because there's a dome around you. Do you wake up Rev and Navali?
Yes. And as I do, I mentioned that I heard a pack of wolves somewhere relatively close by. I don't think it's a threat, but keep your ears out for it.
Of course, thank you.
And for the sake of it, I would have re-upped the dome a third time just to top it out at 8 hours before Leo goes to bed.
Sure, I have no objections. Rev, Navali. Same deal.
Rev, would you mind if Navali rolled at advantage?
Please do.
It's not bad. Are there any conversations the Paladin and Warlock would like to have with each other?
Um, I'm gonna say for Rev's sake, if he does glance over at Navali, she does seem like she looks a little conflicted.
Ah, Navali.
Mm,
Is
y-
something wrong?
Oh, and it's it's not very important, but it's just something I guess I noticed. But like I said, it's not important. I-
It sounds important if it's causing you distress. I mean, if you don't want to talk about it, I understand, but
Navali's quiet for a moment. Uh, well, mm, sec. Well, did you happen to see what I in the middle of our fight back at the our job that we did you happen to see the thing that I had summoned?
um, I believe so. Yes.
Uh, I'm actually going to rule that Rev, you probably didn't
Oh,
because
that's right.
darkness, then you went in the opposite direction.
That's right. I forgot about the darkness. Yeah. No, I apologize. I did not.
Mm. I I've seen Celestra do something quite a number of times. You know the spiritual snakes, the ones with the wings that sometimes appear.
Ah, yes.
I was able to do it. I was able to do that, and I had no idea what would come of it if I tried, and I guess I'm a little conflicted at what appeared to me. I saw it was this giant woman who, well, to put it bluntly, Reverence, it looked like my mother,
Ah, I see.
and I guess I'm a little conflicted by that. I was a little in panic mode after the battle, so I didn't really have much time to think about it, but then now that we have time to sit and think and not completely worry over a lot of things, it's now given me time to recall on it, and I'm not sure if I should feel comforted or if I should feel saddened by it.
I- I'm not. I suppose I'm not certain what it means. Hmm, I am not the most well versed in the arcane. I know that some magic is shaped. Did you?
Not
This
sure.
funny lady, this woman just appeared. You said.
Yes, I had this feeling within me that I could have something come to our aid, and she appeared. It felt like the same sort of magic that I am granted by Helm, and this one felt strong in me. And I'm trying to remember if there was something that maybe sparked this sort of strange feeling or not. I just felt it, and then she was there. But truly, if it is my mother, if that is, or if it's just some sort of illusion, perhaps created within me, brought forth by home, I can't say for certain. That's why I'm conflicted. I know my mother has been dead for a very long time, but seeing her like that, I guess, brings back more sort of the problem, the sort of sadness and pain that comes with seeing a loved one again. And it's conflicting. That said, I could be completely overthinking it, and it's just some giant woman with wings and nothing more. But it really did look like my mother.
I apologize. I am somewhat at a loss. Perhaps, do you think it would be helpful once we have ensured our current safety to return to the Temple of Helm? Would Ants? I don't.
I might do that in my free time.
If you
I'm
would
not.
like assistance, I provided I'm not being harried by shadow creatures.
I would. I would be there for you if the shadow creatures attempted to harm you. I like to think that perhaps with the two of us, they might think twice.
Thank you,
But,
Diwali.
of course, and I appreciate it, Rev. I do. Again, I know that what I'm speaking of is not exactly very important to our situation, but I I do appreciate getting to talk about it a little.
It is important, I think. And as for our current situation, I owe everyone, and you as well, an apology. I do not fully understand the danger that I have invited upon us, and I hope that we can stop it before it becomes a true problem.
I don't think I need to say this again because I believe when I've said this to you before in the past that it is to be believed. Whatever comes your way, Reverence, I am at your side.
Thank you,
Of
Diwali.
course.
It sounds as if you have nothing left to say to each other. Well, Navali, any plans to deal with that information I gave to you?
Yeah, Navali will eventually point out to Rev about the wolves and how uh it seems like they're basically scouting to see if we're easy food.
Right.
Rev,
Uh,
could you roll me Arcana? That's not normal and shouldn't be possible. You're in a
nope.
dome. Sorry, Navali, you have innate intelligence. I'm not going to have you roll that.
No, I appreciate that.
But for reference, you know that this dome should prevent them from knowing that you are even really here. So the fact that they know means either your stench is all around this area and they're trying to figure that out, or somehow they knew from other ways.
Dude. Rev will relay that to Navali before we wake up Karuto and Salastra.
I guess I'm contemplating if perhaps maybe I should stay up a little bit longer with
No,
them.
you rest. I'll stay up with them. Hopefully it's nothing.
Are you certain?
No, but better one of us be um, than both of us.
If anything out of the ordinary happens, please wake me up immediately.
Of course.
Navali will help get Salastra and Karito up. And mention about the wolves.
And Rev will stay up with them.
Rev, please roll me a Constitution saving throw. It's really hard to do so, but you are capable of doing so if you'd like to take a point of exhaustion.
Yep.
Reverend, you don't need to do this for us. I am perfectly capable of standing watch.
It might be me being overcautious, but I would rather take the chance.
Kaito frowns a little at that, but he doesn't push it further.
Well, Salastra, Karuto, would either of you like to give me a perception? One with
My
advantage
perception,
or individually?
my perception is 10. Salastra is quiet.
Can I help you perceive?
Yes, if you'd like.
I think that makes more sense.
Yep, let's go for it. Advantage, go! Nice.
Everyone is very clearly alert. Is there any conversations you would like to have?
I've never felt this terrible before. Are you feeling the same?
Kaito gives a sort of a weak smile. Yes, I believe we have had similar attacks in the past, but this is unique.
I hope I can recover quickly. I'm nervous about fighting so soon.
Well, we do have Nivelle to ensure that we come to as little harm as possible. And of course, Six is very effective at doing the same. So if it does come to blows, then I feel we are both in possibly the best position we can be in.
True, I do have faith in our friends.
Karuto, I'm not going to bother typing this anymore. There are wolves nearby. It's been kind of explicitly stated before. They have not left.
Already keeps a very sharp eye on them.
In fact, with the 23, I'm going to say, there's at least one fairly large one and perhaps a dozen smaller ones.
No, just keep watching them. I'm sure Rev is also keeping an eye on them as well.
Yes.
Watch it like a hawk.
I simply have to ask, does anyone leave the dome?
That would be silly.
Yes. Doesn't answer
Actually,
my
goes for a
question.
midnight stroll. No.
Now I'm sad.
Leo wakes up. He's like, guys, I have to pee.
Hey, use this infinite sake bottle.
Ugh.
It's fun. It's magical. It just turns into sake.
Was it?
We're not going to question this. Unless you have more things to say, I have extremely good news for you. Wolves are incapable of going through a dome. You have successfully long rested. I have even better news for you. Karuto and Celestia restore your max HP.
Woo!
Oh,
Yay!
Life is amazing again.
yay.
Ooh, I forgot what exactly it was. I think it was 57.
I actually wrote down how much you lost if you'd like me to give that to you.
Okay, that works.
Let's see here. Karuto, you lost 25. And looks like you lost 42, Celestia.
I was right. Hooray! Am I still inspired from Six's speech, or is that gone?
I believe that lasted an hour, so that is gone.
Okay.
The sun rises above all of you. With daylight, it is not hard to see these wolves that have not left. What would the party like to do?
Well, now it's safe. Go to the bathroom.
This is mildly off topic. Inspiring leader doesn't actually have a time limit.
In which case, it ends at a long rest regardless.
Yeah, ends at a long rest. Still gone. Celastra, you look much better. Are you okay?
I'm feeling much better. Thank you. Yeah.
Good. That shit was scary. Fuck, you looked like an old lady. I don't even know what an old lady snake looks like. Well, I guess I do now.
I'm not gonna lie, it was not fun.
Okay, well, when they come back, don't get hit by them again. Easy.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Are we okay to change out our spells?
Yes, you have successfully long rested. You are praying to Helm for new spells. What would the party like to do while you're still in the dome?
So with daylight and relatively flat plains, can we all see a pack of wolves like X hundred feet away, or
Yeah, about 300 feet away, there is just a pack of wolves, some of them laying down, some of them watching your dome. Not far away. One of them is very large, the rest of them seem normal wolf sized.
How far away are they again?
300 to 400 feet away.
Drat.
Are they watching us?
I don't need a roll for that. Yes, they are.
Okay. Weapons and armor on. We have to get out of this dome eventually, and if they're watching us, they might try to come attack us. Man, do you remember getting beaten up by wolves when we first joined together?
Not our finest moment.
Those wolves are scary.
I can't remember if I actually almost went down during that fight either.
I think we all did.
Rather embarrassing.
Was it not multiple times, Nivali?
Karuto, don't remind me. Oh, I'm guessing I lose that +1 to that armor. I don't know how long the Solastra's
I
thing
believe
lasts.
Forge Cleric lasts until she puts on something new.
Oh. Well, unless Solastra wants to put it on somebody else.
Now she can only switch it after a long rest, but I believe it lasts until she switches it.
It says until the end of your next long rest or until you die.
Oh.
In that case, you did long rest, so you would have to redo it.
I'll give it back to Navali's armor.
Are you sure? If anybody else wants anything, but I will absolutely take it too.
I think it makes the most sense in general.
Yeah.
Just like having
Thank you.
absurd AC, it's fine.
I love having absurd AC. It's great.
Well, party, you have no issues in getting your stuff back. The dome is protecting you from basically any physical threat. What
For
do?
like another hour.
So it sounds like we're going to engage them 6.
Not if we don't have to, but the way they're looking at us, like, that's not normal.
Alright, if they do engage us, be ready for the intervention of perhaps more of those shadow creatures.
I could see if they're nearby. It's a higher level spell, though.
Well, we have to deal with the wolves regardless.
You can simply see that they are watching you. They're far enough away that you can't quite see how many are awake or how many are asleep, but you know they're there.
Alright, Leorin, if you can use that spell, it might be useful.
That's all right. Leo scribbles some stuff in the air with locate creature to see if they are giving off any of the same vibes. Shadow monster vibes.
Exact opposite direction of where the wolves are, about 500 feet. You couldn't, when you actually turn to look at there's nothing there, but you sense something. It should be there.
You say opposite direction of the wolves, as in like behind us?
Yes.
Oh, like we're potentially surrounded from two fronts.
Potentially.
Yeah, they're around us. I'll indicate. At least one of them is.
I have a plan.
Let's hear it.
Rev. Okay. We can't guarantee that the wolves and the shadow monsters are related, but given all this strange shit that's been happening with the rats, too, I'm gonna go ahead and make that call that these are somehow related. We can see one enemy, but we can't see the other. If we drop the dome and the wolves make any aggressive gesture, we charge them. We have to take care of them quickly because the shadows will be coming up behind us. When the shadows come, we get into a tight formation and put spirit guardians up.
Makes sense to me.
Makes sense to me too. Is everyone ready?
Not
Before there's any dome dropping, I want to
Yeah,
give an
go ahead.
inspiring speech. I want to give an inspirational speech about how badly we kicked the shit out of those shadow dudes yesterday, how we're prepared and have a plan, and how they're not going to get the better of us this time.
As before, you can decide whether or not this actually inspires you. If it does, gain 11 temporary hit points.
Celestra feeling much more confident.
It's 11, right?
Yep.
That's right.
Sweet. 72, baby.
Before I drop the dome, if you have anything you want to do, unless we're waiting to see if they turn hostile. Leo's watching to see if anybody wants to do any like self buff spells or whatever.
Rev's
Yeah,
gonna
sure.
wait until we see if they're hostile. Like if they run at us, then he will do his thing.
Let me just cast a spell.
Okay. Let's see it. Leo will begin humming his blade song, just because he always has more than he ever needs, as just one thing in advance. And he will kind of like give the 1, 2, 3 finger motions that he's about to drop the dome, and we'll drop the dome on 3.
Yeah, okay.
Unless
Yeah,
anybody stops
good.
him. Okay. Then he drops the dome.
As you drop the dome, the largest wolf that you can definitely see from further away definitely looks towards the group that appears, bends its head down, and seems to dig through the grass around it to grab something with its mouth, and starts advancing on the group. Doesn't run at you, and does not have the entire pack following it, but it's definitely moving towards the group. What do you guys do?
Leorin, are you still able to detect the position of the shadows?
Yeah, I was thinking that at the same time. Do I sense anything coming up closer?
They do not move currently.
Nothing's moving towards us except for that wolf.
Does the party intend to do anything as it approaches?
Rev will walk forward a little bit to greet it and see what's in its mouth.
Rev, please roll me perception. Rev, as you move forward to greet it, once you get probably within 100 feet of it, you can see there is an envelope at the side of its mouth that it's carefully holding, making sure it's not biting into it as it's walking straight towards you. And you can tell immediately it's towards you.
Wait right here.
Anyone do anything as the large wolf gets right up to Rev?
Watching like a hawk.
Same, but in the other direction.
Rev, it gets right up next to you and seems to be sitting down in front of you, waiting for you to take the thing out of its mouth.
Rev will take it and is watching its jaws the whole time.
It does not attempt to bite you. You now have an envelope. It sits in front of you.
Rev will open the envelope and examine the contents if there are any.
You open the envelope and you see what appears to be paper. As you might imagine, there are words on that paper. I'm not going to be too coy about this. The wolf is going to stare at you as you read.
Rev will fold up the note and put it in his pocket and stare at the wolf.
It stares back.
Is there something I can help you with? I read your note. I understand.
The wolf seems to nod and slowly back away from you.
Rev will watch it like a hawk.
Is there anything you intend to interact with it as it heads back to his pack?
Waiting to see if it leaves with its pack.
As it gets back, it gives some kind of low guttural sound. All the wolves seem to get up and start heading away from the group.
Any change in behavior at the same time for the shadows?
Additionally, yes, as this happens, as the wolves seem to leave in the opposite direction, the shadows seem to leave in going further away from you, not following the wolves at all.
They're pulling back.
What was that about, Rev?
They have been watching me for some time, it seems. I would like us to scour the area, make certain that they are gone and that there is nobody else currently watching us, please.
Kaito gives a nod and melts into the shadows to go scouting.
Well, as Karuto goes scouting and you begin to check for what could be possibly around you and ensure that perhaps maybe you would actually get time to talk alone. We're going to call break.
But
Woohoo! Baby.
So, you have read a note, Reverence. What do?
Is Karuto still checking the area?
Karuto, as you scour the area, you definitely notice that at the very least, the wolves seem to have completely buggered off. They are much faster than you and simply left. There are definitely still small critters about, but none of them seem interested in you. It's definitely not like the rat situation of they seem to be scouting the group. It's more like a squirrel who spots you and goes, nope, and gets the fuck away from you.
Yes, character returns. It's like, coast is clear.
Okay. I think Rev would show this note to the party and suggest if Salastra is up for it that we send a message to Rosawin's attendant.
Sure. No objections.
And what would you like to say to Rosalind, attendant?
That I don't know that we are being spied on in the city and surrounding area. Unsure how to proceed. I don't know how to word this.
I mean, would it make sense to meet with her?
If that's something that we can ask.
I think we can ask, but whether we'll get it is another question. Okay. If that's all we want to ask, I will send that.
So, for DM's clarity, it's you believe you're being followed and also that you'd like to meet with Rosalind.
I believe so. Just
Sounds
emphasizing that
fair.
we're being watched.
Slascha, your response back is the familiar half-elven voice going, this, I fail to see how this affects us directly, but I will inform her considering that apparently she cares. Almost hear his defeatedness.
She has been informed.
Will Party, what do you do?
Do you still believe that this is connected to the missive?
I don't know.
Uh, maybe worth going over uh, the paperwork and seeing if there's anything we can learn from the petitioner's office about who put in the request. Though it was there were drugs there. So at least some of it was true.
Leo, do you mean who gave us the request for investigating the place?
Well, who? Yes, I suppose so.
It's very likely that it had something to do with me because I had asked Rosalind about the, shady people who were taking the children from Mother Marigolds and if there was something we could do about it. So it's likely that Rosalind was just granting my request.
I suppose I want to confirm that that's the case and that we were not overheard and maybe someone else issued it.
Mhm.
Has there been a telltale sign on like quests from Rosalind that they're all signed by like the Bronze Wings or something?
They are
When
actually intentionally made very vague, so no. That being said, at the very least, the missive definitely was legit in some way, as the guards were willing to work with you.
Um, re- Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe the message that we got said, in particular, that this was a mission solely for the Shield of the Outcast, and if they choose not to take it, then get rid of the message?
It just won't be done, correct?
It just won't, yeah. So it was directly just for us.
Mhm. Would Leo and his knowing guild bureaucracy stuff know of a way to request information about the quest giver?
You know that there's going to be a bureaucracy to this, and overall, there's a good chance that they might stonewall you, but you could attempt to essentially go, hey, we want to make sure that there's no issues, and then have them go through a bunch of list of maybe there is an issue and we have to do it on our end and won't give you information until they figure that out.
Hmm. So I could ask, but we might not get a response for weeks, and that response may not tell us anything.
Yep.
Hey, Rev.
Yes.
Do you want to go chill out for a few minutes while we pack up? She's sort of like gesturing towards whatever our stuff is and offering to pack it up.
Sure.
She just packs up things.
Honestly, you probably are just packing up your bedrolls and such, so you just slept on the ground. The 6, is there something in particular you want to talk to Rev with this?
No, it was more she's trying to get the heat off of him. Or invite him to go be alone.
Rev will take that opportunity to try to gather his thoughts.
Yeah, she's like offering to pack up Rev shit, like his bedroll and everything, so he can go take a walk.
Sure. Rev, do you go take a walk?
Not far, but yeah.
Perfect. Anyway, Rev, roll initiative. I'm kidding.
Did you leave the note with us when you leave, or did you keep it?
I think he would have left it with the party with whoever was reading it last or whatever.
Okay, I might just drop a good old 10-minute detect magic and make sure that there's nothing off about it.
No magic. You take a walk about while everyone else gets packed up. Lots of thoughts, I'm sure.
Yep.
I personally have to ask, is there anything in particular the party would like to do before you head back to town?
Nope.
Can I assume that you head back to town after you pack up and have a kind of quiet, solemn, not sure what to do energy to you?
When Rev returns, he would suggest maybe we should go to the Tandem Imperium.
I can get the paperwork started on this and meet you there if you'd like.
Please do.
Okay.
Well, any objections to this?
Nope.
As you pack up your things and have time to kind of think about what to plan for next, you arrive back at the gate, and almost immediately, instead of simply being allowed back in, one of the guards flags you down. I'm going to assume that you simply go to him instead of trying to avoid him in any way or form.
Yeah.
You're Shield of the Outcast. We've seen you a few times. One of your members yesterday is not allowed to leave and asked politely to be allowed to leave several times before simply telling us to listen. The blonde woman who's with you, uh, she wanted to let you know that she can't leave and she wants to know you're safe. Why are all of you looking sad? Did something happen? Ben is dead on the road again.
No. Did the blonde woman say where she was staying?
She didn't really mention that. No, we mostly just had to try and get her to understand she can't leave, and we just agreed to let you guys know that she tried.
Let's.
She's in your guild, don't you know?
Yes, why don't we go see her?
Well, should I meet you at that inn we were at yesterday then, or the Tandem Imperium?
Tandem Imperium.
Okay. Leo will go do paperwork.
Cool. Leo, you have no issues in getting paperwork started, though they simply inform you it will take several days minimum in order to actually figure this out.
You mean regarding the specific request or the money as
Yes.
well?
Request. The actual money, you get 100 gold.
Okay. Leo will put that in the guild fund eventually if but he will thank them and go to the Tandem Imperium, I suppose.
As for the rest of the party, you have no issues in going back to the inn. Familia was waiting very patiently for you and immediately gives Navali a hug.
Navali hugs her back.
She looks very distraught at the fact she couldn't help you, but I'm going to be brief about this. Suffice to say, she saw the letter, immediately tried to go, "Oh, I'm not doing anything. I can go. I can't leave the city. I can't leave the city." And that was her night.
Out of character, I keep forgetting that Permelia actually can't leave the city.
It would have been much funnier if you wrote in the letter, "Please meet us here," and she physically couldn't.
Yeah. Don't worry about it, Harm. It's all right. We're okay. It's a lot has happened in the past couple of days, or not even days. It's been a day. A lot has happened in a day.
For the sake of brevity, do you just tell her everything while you're walking to the Tandem Imperium?
Navali will if nobody stops her.
Why would we stop them?
Fair.
Well, if anyone is eavesdropping, they're going to be more confused than anything else, and also just stay away from the party more. Arrive back in the Tandem Imperium. Does the party wait for Leo to regroup?
I'd say so.
You have regrouped in the Tandem Imperium. Bro has let you in. Rhea appears to be just off to the side, and Varia actually it would not be in the main floor at the moment, so it's just those two. If you would like to do anything in the Tandem Imperium, like gather people and talk to them too.
Leo gives Rev the 100 gold. I don't know if are you still updating the fund now that Leo's back?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, if you want to, go ahead.
I can. I was doing it because Leo was doing it, but I can, as a player, take care of it now if you want.
Yeah, cool. Thank you.
Tables are set up for you. You can definitely tell that they can also feel your sadness and worry and just kind of go, "Okay, we're not dealing with this," and putting alcohol in front of you.
I think Rev's gonna request to speak to Crow.
She will close her book and sit down next to you.
How secure is this place?
That's a complicated question. Do you mean from divination magic, physically, or magically?
I guess magically, divination. I'm being followed, and I need to speak to you about that.
Oh, well, anyone can walk in without any issues. There's several contingencies in the basement, but the actual main floor, anyone can come in without any issues. We don't have anything to prevent disguises or illusion magic, but attempting to cast divination within the place will simply do a rather funny loop of an empty place, or sometimes just forcibly having one of the girls currently in their session. Why?
So, in other words, unless we see a presence watching us, we are relatively secure here.
Unless it's extremely high level magic, yes. I can never say it's completely safe. It's difficult to make anything safe when you can just overpower anything, but it's protected.
I guess that is as good as we're going to get. What do you know about vampires?
She takes out her book and opens it again. So, do you remember when you talked to me about this after the Guild Summit?
Oh, that's right.
I've been doing a lot of research onto this, and I have good news and I have very bad news. The good news is they don't really interact unless they get really mad at people. The bad news is that if you made them very mad, they have a tendency to do a lot of damage. Can't find any weaknesses, but I definitely learned that they have control over rats, bats, and wolves. Additionally, if you kill them with most weaponry, instead of dying, they turn into mist and then reform completely healthy within 2 weeks. Don't know how to permanently kill them.
Well, that's more than I had before. Thank you.
You're welcome. As payment, can I go to the spa next time you get one of those tokens again?
You know what? Sure. If we get another one, I'd be happy to take you. So anyway, let's pretend. No, let's not pretend. I pissed one of them off, or perhaps several of them, I'm not sure.
Um, well, if they attack us, it might get funny because I doubt they know that that wouldn't work too well in their favor. They're kind of, it would be kind of interesting to see what would happen if vampires and devils fought, but I wouldn't worry about us. That being said, if people start disappearing, it might be them.
Disappearing.
Yes. Oftentimes to the point of they even scrub public records. If people in our government start, for example, just saying, do this or die, or do this and then you never see that person again, it might be them and not people that you might trust more. By the way, this took me like 4 months, and I went through libraries and upon libraries. I might have to ask for more things than a spa token.
That's fine. I appreciate your help very much.
I think they're undead. Don't know if that helps.
Well, they've stated that they know that we are allies and they know that you are a guild, for what that's worth.
Well, you do keep coming here, and we're registered. That's
Well,
not hard.
fair enough. I just wanted to make you aware.
I will especially tell Qualm not to do any outside jobs, but the rest of them can take care of themselves. What do you know about vampires?
I'm trying to recall. Did we learn anything differing from? Well, we were at the guild summit. There was no handout associated with that, correct?
There was no handout associated, and she was there.
Well, then I don't think Rev's learned anything new about vampires.
My only out of character memory is that they definitely scrubbed records of themselves from that library because that's why we had to pull Crow in.
Well, this might be reaching, but how did you piss them off?
I suppose I trespassed where I should not have, apparently.
That sounds complicated, and I don't know how to help with that.
You're telling me I didn't know I shouldn't trespass until I was already on the property.
I could complain about government red tape, considering that we're not even really allowed to operate our own guild inside the city, if you remember. So I understand. Are you really just here to essentially give a warning?
No, I mean, well, provided you don't kick us out, no, because I'm not sure what to do next. Rev will kind of look to the group.
Oh, we're here. For some
Yeah,
reason,
you're all here.
Oh,
I thought this was in a different room.
No, she just sat down next to you guys. You are all right here listening to this. Uh, wait, are you asking me for? I don't know.
oh, I apologize. I mean, if you have insight, it would be very helpful, but no, just... we don't really... They already know that we go here, so I don't really know where else to stay at the moment, while we figure something out.
Well, I do need to tell my father and probably Rhea about what's happening, and I don't think we're going to kick you out, considering that, frankly, your enemies probably are no worse than the enemies we've already made.
Of course. Let me know if anything changes, however.
Sure. Uh, if it makes you feel any better, uh, in a worst case, we probably just have to move, and that's not that big of a deal for most of us.
I hope it doesn't come to that.
Right. I'll go tell everyone. You can discuss things that we won't have patrons for. You came in the morning. 12 hours? With her thinking of time, she will excuse herself to go inform other people. You now have the table to yourselves. Is there anything you'd like to discuss?
If you don't want to owe her a favor, I might have something that she wants spell wise. She's seemed to accept spells from me before.
How do you mean?
I forget the exact exchange, but once, I think it was actually when we went to the guild summit and she helped us there, I let her look through my spell book, and so I have something that I've recently been working on that I think would be of her interest, and she said that she wanted more from us, so I suppose I was just saying I could see if she'll take it.
Let's wait and see what she says first, but it is good to know.
Is there anything else the party would like to discuss? Suppose I should mention that Permelia feels extremely uncomfortable here.
Would it be a good idea to get out of town for a while?
I'm sorry. Is that what Leo is asking?
Yeah.
I don't know yet. Maybe.
After asking in a moment of contemplation, Crow will come back and just sit down next to Rev again. So complicated problem or solution. Uh, we don't really know how we can help you here, but if you have something that you think we can do to learn more about them, we're willing to, as long as Azel gets to talk to the person living inside of you. Apparently,
Ah,
she thinks we might be able to do stuff with that.
well, if we happen to think of anything, we'll let you know.
Great. You all look sad and depressed. I'm going to assume that you don't want Qualm or anyone to just come up and cheer any of you up.
Uh,
That's this is going to get awkward. Okay, I'm going to go grab food. You you be sad and talk amongst yourselves.
I know that this may spark feelings, but where I come from, there certainly must be documentation on vampires that is more thorough than what Crow has found. But I don't have a way. I have a way to bring us there, but not a way to bring us back.
Our business is here, I think.
I don't know if I personally feel right about leaving Dovren when we now have this group of people threatening those we care about here.
I think we should leave, but not to go to wherever you're talking about. The message had a threat, and the threat was very clear. I think that if we don't piss them off any further, she's looking at Rev, then we don't have anything to be worried about right now.
I agree, and that's where I'm thinking, but I want to ensure that at least the orphanage is safe before we leave. somehow.
I think that's a good idea.
Oh, see, but man, if only we'd had a guild member who just disappeared, but was also a mercenary.
Hmm.
Named after some kind of profession.
Only.
Permelia kind of speaks up for a moment. I don't know how long I'm still going to be stuck in the city. I could just guard it while you guys do other things.
Maybe, but not alone in either case.
VD is actually very capable when she actually wants to do things.
What does everyone think? And Rev is kind of looking specifically at Navali.
Mm. Uh, I'm not. I'm not certain. I guess it could be for the best, but Navali will look at Perm.
Roll insight.
Right. Well,
Continue.
I guess we don't know how long she is to stay here. I guess given that we saw her name on the note, I don't feel I don't want to leave her.
I don't want to leave her either. Permelia, you're extremely talented in combat, and I feel safer when you're traveling with us.
Me too.
She is going to look down, very clearly blushing and unsure of what to say.
Maybe we could uh find out from the guard. Just how much longer it will be.
They don't know.
Well, hmm.
The problem is they're having to talk to Iridia about what to do about me. And I think Iridia is actively not answering because they find it funny.
Mm.
Do they typically have conversations like that over great distances as well?
Yes.
Or like via letters, I should say. Or through magic.
Both. In our case, they send letters to clerics, and the clerics can send magic to the people of higher ups, but they don't have direct communication to the higher ups, so it takes days for every notice. And from what I've been told, they think it's, well, Iridia found it hilarious that essentially I directly caused a Dulveran noble to go to jail and basically don't want to talk about it. So that's where I'm at.
It may be unrelated, but does Arturius know that you broke your oath?
I have no idea.
I don't know how far his reach is, if he would hold you here himself.
It's possible, but I have no idea. But if that's true, she's in a lot more danger than I am, and she gestures towards Navali.
I'm not afraid of him.
You beat the shit out of him that one time, and that was by yourself. We're much stronger now, and if he comes back, I'm not going to let him take you.
Thank you. We, out of character, we haven't heard anything back about from the Rosalind secretary, right? Besides what he sent back?
It's been like 10 hours now.
Okay, cool. Just was curious.
In fact, I'm going to point out, because you've contacted him several times, you're pretty sure he doesn't know sending. It's always been you got physical means after you communicate with him.
Hmm.
Well, if I can ask this question, where are we planning to go if we can leave?
Leo kind of, he doesn't stare at Six, but looks in her direction.
There was talk about going to New Victoria, which would involve going around the Savage Lands. Additionally, I wanted to go to the Oasis of Flowers in search of my brother, and we wanted to search the area around the City of Winds regarding information about the Butcher's Eidolon. She looks at Permilia. Also, I recently talked with Karito and made use of his bottle. I asked the question where we might find my mother's soul. And I was granted a vision of a gem that I think is an Eidolon in a location that looks like it's in the Savage Lands. I would like to make finding that gem a priority.
Can I make a suggestion then? I also roll insight as she says this. 6. Just 6. 6, you do not need to look at her face too hard to understand that being invited to come with you for this scares her dramatically. Sam talked a little bit about traveling through there with VD before, and I overheard you're going to need a lot of supplies. Maybe just spend the next few days preparing for the journey?
A good idea. Let's do just that.
After this is done, do we need to talk, Perm? Sorry, Permilia.
No.
It's okay if you're scared. I'm scared.
You can tell that she's looking at the rest of the group and not really wanting to respond to that 6. Also, with your
Oh.
previous insight, you know that answer was not a no. Even if she said no.
Yeah.
Well, um, how about that's what we do? We figure out what we need to buy, and then we complain until they let me out of the city.
I'm really good at complaining. I got you, Familia.
I know you are.
Anyone opposed to this plan of action?
I'm not.
None here.
How far is it away? Just what Leo's asking out loud.
So DM is just going to answer that one with out of character knowledge, and some six especially could answer this with the. Are we talking about the Savage Lands in general, or a city in the Savage Lands?
Our first destination. Assuming that would be New Victoria, I think.
New Victoria would be going through the Savage Lands completely. That would be about a month and a half.
I only ask because should we be seeking to return to Dolveron quickly, I will need to find out if there's a teleportation circle here. It's one of the things I picked up while I was on the boat, but I have to have something to anchor it to.
I was speaking to Azel about long range movement. I think she said that there might be one, but the blue cloaks guard it.
I suppose if we have a few days, I could go talk to them.
I don't know how effective talking to them directly would be, but I don't know an alternative course of action, so this is what I propose. However, while we're preparing, finding information, getting supplies, no one goes anywhere alone. Understood?
Got it.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds good.
Absolutely.
Well, do we want to get into the idea of what you're doing for the next few days to gather information, get supplies, and such?
Yeah.
I think
Mm-hmm.
so.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to just start with that teleportation circle and let Leo know almost immediately. Uh, they flat out refuse to let you see it. They consider it a security risk.
There's no like playing up the guild summit and
They don't like you.
Yeah. Well, that because that's an interesting point. Not that Leo was going to barter with this, but he wanted to get a measure of how they felt about the fact that we learned what they wanted to learn, and they didn't get that information about Rosalind or about a mysterious shape that flew over the city X years ago.
They actively don't like you. I'm not even going to have a role for that. They're not hiding it.
I don't want to like speed through this too fast, but I'm trying to get a sense of what would fix that.
I will allow you to roll me. Let us go with a charisma, just a general charisma roll.
Yeah, well,
You have no idea.
all right. Well, Leo gets the door slammed in his face, I suppose.
In the meantime,
Oh,
I was just going.
Leo has other things that he wants to do, but I can wait.
Yeah, I was just going to quickly go. In the meantime, I, as the DM, just need to ask this very important question. Does the party have an actual route of what they would like to do, like getting to New Victoria and going to the Oasis of Flowers, City of Winds, and exploring Savage Lands for Six's Eidolon?
I have a question for the bottle, if Karito will let me, to expedite the Eidolon.
Yeah, it's like one question out of several that they've asked already, so it's fine. As in, like, Tushiyuki had been asking many questions and got any nowhere, so he's not too fussed about allowing it to happen.
The question is, what can we do to find where the Eidolon we previously viewed using the bottle is?
Ah.
Do you think that's a good one?
I can't think of any better way to phrase it. No.
Is that the exact word you use?
Mm-hmm.
The sake flickers into colors and then flickers black as if unsure of how to answer that.
That's the first time that's ever happened, right?
Tushiyuki has said that this has happened to him before, but it's definitely rare. It's generally speaking what happens when you put something that's actually impossible. Something in the wording just doesn't work.
I'll be more careful next time. Thanks, Karito.
You know, it's
But yes, party. Do you have a route actually planned, or are you planning to essentially circle around the Savage Lands to go to New Victoria and then head through the Savage Lands?
Circling around would be by boat, right?
The waters are actually unsafe. There is a pathway that Six knows that is still walking.
Oh, right. And going through the Savage Lands would mean going through that smuggler's tunnel. And
Could use it if you wanted to, yeah.
I want to go to the Oasis of Flowers first.
Ooh. In this case, I can actually give Six a kind of, if that is the first destination, she can get an estimate of between 2 and 3 weeks walking there.
My brother is there, and he's been there for some time, according to Rasuin. The desert is dangerous. If he's able to survive out there, there has to be something there. There's something more that we don't know. And if he knows something, or... I don't know. If he knows something, then the rest of it can become easier.
That makes sense to me.
Well, in that case, Leo, you said you also had something else you wanted to do during preparation?
He would want to go see Crow. And just sort of go in her office or whatever room that she has private and say, I think you're the person to talk to. I've been dipping into things of a divination nature. Do you have, or do you know where I could secure some ivory?
As you approach her privately, she has a look of heavy thoughts when you say ivory. Oh, I assume you mean a lot of it. The more expensive kind.
I believe I need 4 strips of it, about yay big, indicating 50 gold each.
You
Is it?
have the money on you?
No. But do you have any? I
Yes,
suppose what I was
I
asking.
actually do, yes.
You must be familiar with this then, and I'll show her the spell that I'm thinking about. Is this something that you can do?
I personally haven't been able to master it yet, but I know of it, yes. I've been preparing for it.
Leo's like, in his mind, he's like, wait, how did I figure it out then? But he says, like, I think I can do this, but I don't suppose. I suppose I was hoping to borrow the ivory for a bit.
Okay. I'm going to say you can borrow it for now under the condition that you are willing to share whatever information you learn about Eidolon with it.
Well, then we're aligned in our intents, although I might be gone for some time. I think our crew is leaving soon.
Oh no, however can we communicate from long distances?
Well, if this is a mutually beneficial thing, would I be able to split the costs on incense as well?
Phew. That becomes trickier. I don't have that on me currently, because that I'm sure you're aware that it actually gets consumed, and why would I have that part if I can't cast the spell yet? I can tell you where you can get it, but that's a lot of money.
Yeah. If maybe I'll just hold on to the ivory for now, and I'll let you know if. I mean, yeah. I think we are in understanding. I don't know when I'll be able to use this. I think I need to discuss it with folks on when and where we're going to. Yeah.
I can tell you might want to use it on whatever's inside reference. I think we might get a lot of information from that one.
You all have been dying to know about that Eidolon specifically, and I can't speak for reference, only speaking for myself, but why that one? You're very insistent.
Because it can talk.
Well, I don't want to make that promise that that's going to be our choice, nor that Rev would want to share about it if we chose that. If you wanted to offer up the incense, I would be, or offer up the money for the incense, I'd be happy to cast it upon yours.
For persuasion. I can't promise that right now. I'm going to talk to my father about it to see if he thinks it will be useful. And if he does, I can probably take it from our guild funds.
Good. Sorry, I'm not trying to force your hand in a different direction. I just can't make these decisions myself. So if you want to fund your own interests that you have access to, then I'm happy to support that. But
Right. Well, let me get you the ivory. At the very least, if you do find something, I do want to know.
I will. Or I will let you know.
And with that, we're actually going to end session a little bit early today because there's some things that I think we might want to actually think about over the week and discuss about exactly where you're going to go instead of preparing before you decide.
No, think only kill.
No, no. Please. So, is everyone good for next week?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Gonna double check just in case, but I'm pretty sure yes. Yep, we're all good.
Okay, in that case, we're going to end a little early this session and we'll play again next week.
Thanks for coming.
Hooray.
You're running.